The following is a presentation of the St. Louis Chess Club. Round 3 of the Spring Classic here in St. Louis. Late in the round, Grandmaster Varakobian shook things up with a drawish-looking King in 3 versus King in 3 endgame. One mistake by Grandmaster Roman Edouard, and Akobian won what looked like a study. In the B group, International Master Jack Stembuliak threatened mate on Grandmaster Viktor Michalevsky with a Queen and Rook battery, gaining a point for the Ukrainian. The weekend begins, but the week for these players is just beginning. Coverage of Round 4 starts now. With over $30,000 and pride on the line, 20 international chess professionals converge in St. Louis for the 2018 Spring Chess Classic. Hello, chess fans, and welcome back to St. Louis for the 2018 Spring Chess Classic. This is round number 4 of 9 in this round-robin event. My name is Ben Simon.
And I'm Vitaly Neimer.
And we have a little bit more clarity in this tournament so far. Before the round began today, we had 3 names at the top in Group A and 1 lone name in Group B. But before we get to today's matchups, let's take a look at what happened yesterday in Group A. Here are the results as they happened. Only one decisive game, but it was a big one.
Right, so we had 4 draws. Sam Shanklin drew Darius Svirts. Romain Edouard lost to Varuzhan Akobian. Alex Oninchuk drew against Lazar Brazon. Yaro Zherebuch drew Surya Ganguly. And Jeffrey Zhang drew Alex Ipatov.
And Akobian, when he came down here after his game, he was kind of disappointed we weren't on the air anymore because he's like, I gotta show you this. Take a look. It was a totally drawn ending, and he came through in what looked, as he said, like a study, like a composition. And so one mistake by Roman Edouard, and Var Akobian was able to capitalize, and that brings us to our standings as they are right now, or before the round rather. And you'll see we have 3 names at the top.
Yeah, we have Alexander Onishuk playing against Varuzhan Akobian and Jeffrey Zhang, all of them with 2 points. We have a few players with a point and a half and also with a point. So as you can see, we have all those close margins. And by the way, Alex Onishuk is playing right now Varuzhan Akobian. So they might be playing for the top seed.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a fair assessment. Now, on the other side of the room, we do have a challenger section, or a Group B, which is still a very strong group. This is the strongest classic we've ever had here at the club. And yesterday, let's take a look at their results for Group B.
Yeah, so we had 2 draws. Alexander Fier drew Akshat Chandra, PD drew Wanda Liang, and 3 decisive results. Andrei Gorovitz beat with the black pieces Aaron Grabinski, and Melik Kachian. And Jack Stembuliak beat with white pieces J.J. Morandi and Viktor Michalevsky.
It was great to hear from Melik yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
One of the friendliest guys in this tournament, to be sure. And this brings us to the standings after 3 rounds have been completed in Group B.
Yeah, so it looks like Akshat Chandra so far is still on the top with 2.5 points. And after him, we have Andrei Gorovitz on the 2nd seed. And we have a few players with a point and a half, 1 point and a half point as well.
Lovely, lovely. And now, the games going on right now at uschesschamps.com are as follows. Let's take a look at Group A pairings. 2 games are already over. In these pairings, you see Sam Shanklin versus Roman Edouard. That game is a draw. And then also Darius Svirts and Alexander Ipatov have drawn their games. But there's 3 more still going.
Right, that's correct, yes. So we have Surya Ganguly playing against Jeffrey Zhang. Lazar Brazon is still playing against Yaro Zherebuch, and we have Varuzhan Akobian playing against Alex Onishuk.
And can you say game of the day
when
it comes to these 2? Look at the scores so far. Both are still undefeated in this event, and it is a tough event, like we said, 2-2. Let's see if we can get a decision here, and someone will take the lead here in this tournament. Varakobian versus Alex Onishuk.
Definitely. And by the way, they are also pretty close friends, so that makes that matchup pretty difficult for them emotionally, probably, to play against each other.
How do you handle that whenever you play a friend in an environment like this?
Well, you know what, Sam? It's just business.
Sam. Uh-oh. We've been doing this a long time here. We've been doing this a long time.
Well, yeah, you gotta handle it just like business.
We're having a good time here at the Spring Classic. Sometimes when you play your friend, you call them by the wrong name. You're so close. Okay, let's take a look at the pairings in Group B, if you will. Thank you. All right, and in this division, we have really lucked out today because the last 4 games you'll see there are still having a little bit of a relay problem from yesterday. So those games you'll be able to see after the fact at uschesschamps.com. Play them through. You might have some good happenings there. But the game of the day in this division, we lucked out, Vitaly, because it's going to be Andrei Gorovets versus Viktor Mikhailevsky. You took a look at this game earlier and had some. You were kind of impressed.
Oh yeah, definitely. There is going to be some fighting over there. I saw that one of them didn't castle, and we saw some long castles. So it's going to be pretty interesting match to look at.
Yes, and we do have access to this game. We'll be taking a look at it a little bit later on. And now, Vitaly, I have to ask you, what are your predictions for today?
Oh, thanks so much for asking me, Ben. Well, as you can see, today we are both wearing the red color. Ooh. And I think that we are going to see some fire on the chessboard today, some fighting, definitely.
Fighting chess. Fire, yes. Stuff we love. Okay. Now, we're collaborating here. This is really great. I appreciate it. All right, the tournament format, it's pretty easy to understand. We have 2 10-player round robins. The time control is 90 minutes for the first 40 moves, and after that, each player gets a bonus 30 minutes added onto their clock. There is a 30-second increment from the very first move. That'll make it harder to run out of time in this event, and also there is a 30-move draw rule in effect, which means that the players cannot offer or accept a draw before Black's 30th move. And that will encourage fighting chess.
Oh yeah, definitely.
No early draws. Okay, let's take a look at the prizes for Group A. This is what they're all playing for, folks, with a $22,000 prize fund on the line.
Yeah, the first place is going to take with him $6,000, and then the second and the third place are going to take $4,000 and $3,000, and this is the rest of the breakup.
And Group B is not too shabby itself, with a 14 grand total prize fund and the individual payouts listed right there.
Right, so first place is going to take with him $4,000 and $2,500 for second place and $2,000 for the third place, and still everybody gets a prize.
Okay, and now let's get to the games, Vitaly. Let's take a look at one of our games of the day, first of all. I want to check that out.
Oh yeah, definitely. So, the game of the day today, let's start with Group A.
Akobian and Onashuk, the good friends, and U.S. championship competitors going back years and years. Varakobian actually was the 2014 U.S. champion runner-up. It was a very, very close playoff, and he lost to Gadakamsky after making it to the final. Very, very intense situation. So this should be a good matchup. Right?
Oh yeah, definitely. So let's see. So as far as I can see now, right now, we are in the end game. The pawn structure is a little bit different for both of the players. So far, it looks pretty equal to me, although this pawn might be looking handy, but the knight can. I'm not sure if the knight can take this pawn on d5, because if he does, then the white rook is going to come out here swinging on d1, and although the black can take another pawn on c3, then white will be able to recapture on d6 check. I think this looks too dangerous for black. So black should probably not capture this pawn. But I wonder if black can play this move, b5, and open up his position. Now let's see from the beginning, what did we have? How did we get to this position? So we had d4, knight f6, c4, e6, knight f3, and b6. Okay, so we have the Queen's Indian defense, a pretty popular opening we have nowadays. a3, preventing the bishop from coming to b4 and pinning our knight. Bishop to a6, queen to c2, c5. Okay, so this is pretty much all theory. d5, very interesting idea. Pawn takes d5, pawn takes d5, and now black played this move, g6. Now, for our viewers at home, just remember the knight cannot take here on d5, because white has this very strong counter move with queen to e4 check, checking the king and also checking the knight. Now, even though black can go back with the knight, then the queen can recapture here the rook on a8. So it's a very nice little trap that even in the opening version, Jacobian said to Alexander Onishuk. Well, obviously, those are pretty experienced players, so Alexander did not take the pawn. Played g6 with the idea to fianchetto his other bishop. Knight c3 was played, bishop to g7, e4, bishop takes f1, and now king takes on f1. Very strange. Yeah, so why does white need to make this? White needs to make a choice in this position. Do I play e4 or do I play g3 and fianchetto the bishop on g2? But probably white considered the idea is that black can put his, after d6, castle and rook e8, there might be some pressure on this e-pawn. So sometimes white is not so happy with this bishop on g2 because he's just stuck upon looking at this pawn on d5. So many times we have, even in the Benoni, we have this exchange e4. Bishop takes and king takes on f1. And basically now, after d6, many times what white is doing is that he can play g3, let's say castle, and king to g2, and this is what we call an artificial castle, rook e8 and rook to e1. So even though we are losing the castling in one move, well, we kind of do it manually.
And it's better than nothing.
Yeah, exactly. So now, so let's get back to the game. After d6 was played, queen a4, queen d7, queen takes d7, knight b to d7. It looks like all of our players like to play endgames. We see more and more endgames. Very interesting style. Bishop to f4. Now this bishop on f4 is getting his job done here on f4, attacking this weak pawn on d6, and black has to play king to e6. So now both of the players are without any castle, but it's okay because we are just in the beginning of the endgame, and we know that in the endgame we need the king in the center anyway. So h3 was played, a6. Black's idea is usually to do some to gain some more space on the queen side with this pawn b5. And white obviously played a4, knight to e8. So the knight is coming to c7 to support the b5 pawn. We had a few knight moves, f5, few exchanges. Here white decided to exchange his bishop just to get this beautiful square for the knight on c4. Rook to b8, rook to e1, knight c7, and king to f3. Rook to e1. So I think that the idea of rook e1 is probably to bring the other rook to e1, to double up the rooks and to invade on e7. So yeah, if you can see, it's actually white to move right now. So let's look at how black played. Black did play b5 according to our prediction, and looks like version is Vara's thinking here. If it will be up to me, I would just snap this pawn off the board and pawn takes, and now I would just go try to find a spot for the knight. Now the idea of exchanging the a4 pawn and the a6 pawn is basically, it's probably a little bit better for white because this rook might get active on the a file. Maybe we might see rook going to a7 or a6. So I'm not so sure why he's spending so much time, but no, he actually did make a move, and he did take on b5. As you can see, Alex Onishuk is coming back to his game. I'm pretty sure we're going to see a takes b5 pretty fast. Looks like Alex Onishuk does have the advantage on the time with 34 minutes versus 10 minutes, and they are at move number 25. Yeah, so if I would be on Vara's shoes, I would probably try to play a bit faster. So we're going to get back to this game. It looks so far it's pretty equal, but this is the game of the day. You never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, it's super important for the standings here. Oh, they just played a few moves here.
Okay.
Wish I would have seen them on the board. There's a slight delay in the relay of these amazing DGT boards. It really is a technological marvel. You think back decades ago, I mean, you have people relaying the moves by hand, and now you have these digital boards sending the moves to the worldwide audience. I think this is a really
right.
neat
Even
thing.
if you think about the clocks, I mean, we didn't have any digital clocks. We had those analog clocks.
And not only are these digital clocks, but they're plugging into the boards, sending the timeout too. So that's a really neat thing.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. So I think that after pawn took on b5, Var has played knight to e3, coming here to attack this pawn on f5 and defending his pawn on d5. Now, overall, I mean, I like White's position. His pieces are a little bit more active. I think this rook on a1 feels very good. This rook on e2 might become active. This pawn on f5 is a bit shaky. And let's not forget the kings. The kings are the kings in the endgame. So probably White wants to put his king on f4 and then try to get this pawn on f5. I think it's going to be interesting. And by the way that Var was playing yesterday, his endgame, which by my prediction it was supposed to end in a draw.
It was supposed to. I mean, it's just a logical prediction.
Yeah. So yeah, you never know what's going to happen. You never know. Okay, so let's go to the game of the day at Group B. We have Viktor Michalewski playing black pieces against Andrei Gorovets. Okay, what is going on here? As we said, White's king is on e1, still in the middle, and Black's king castled. I don't really like this queen on just aligned in front of the Black's rook. But let's first of all count the pieces. What is going on here? So yeah, it looks like White is pawn up. 7 pawns versus 6 pawns. So, wow, this is going to be what? Is this just me or everything is hanging? Like the knight on d3, knight on b4. Everyone can capture everybody. I mean, all of those people, all of those pieces are just hanging. a2, the knight, the bishop here. Wow. Okay, almost looks like a bug house game.
It looks a little weird. Yeah, I don't even know. Like my mind's like I don't even know where to begin.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see. Let's go over it step by step.
Sounds like a good idea.
d4, knight f6, bishop to f4. Okay, so we have the London system. d5, e3, bishop to g4. Okay, an interesting idea. Attacking the queen, f3. Bishop goes back to d7. An interesting maneuver. Some people might ask, why did Victor made this maneuver? Why did he go to g4 and then go backwards? Doesn't it just lose time? Well, there is an interesting idea here. Is that if Black would play bishop d7 immediately, well, White can just develop his knight to f3. So in this case, this move bishop to g4. And after White plays f3, well, that pawn on f3 basically takes away that square from the knight. Very, very tricky.
Prompting the f3 pawn to inconvenience White later on. Very interesting.
So knight c3 was played c5, okay. Pawn takes on c5, then queen takes on queen a5, okay. He wants to take the pawn back on c5, queen d2, knight c6. Very interesting, okay. Preparing e5 probably. Rook d1. And castle, long castle. Wow. Very sharp play by the players. As we said, that's some fire on the board over here. Knight g2 e2. So this White is trying to figure out, how do I develop my pieces? Knight g2 and then e5. Very active game by Victor. I think that he lost yesterday his game, and if he so maybe it just shows us how he wants to come back. Bishop to g5. Bishop to e6, knight to c1, and now d4. So black decided to explore the center. Knight to b5. Knight to b4. Okay, why can't we take the pawn on e3? Well, then probably, let's see what white can do here. He can maybe take the queen on a5. So this was white's idea after playing knight to b5. So white wants to exchange queens because his king is still in the center. But Victor says, no way. I'm going to keep my queens on the board. Let's see. Knight to b4. By the way, the threat is knight takes on c2, check. Because the queen is basically pinned. The queen cannot take on c2 because of this pin over here. Pawn takes on d4. And bishop takes on c5. Wow. So this is how we got to this position. So black had so many options here. He could take on d4. He can take on c5. And he can take on c2 with a check. Tough decision.
Pin City.
Yeah. So he decided to take it with this on c5, which I really like this move because it, you gain a pawn back, and also I develop my bishop, and I connect my rooks. I really like black's position now. And now white played this move, knight to d3. Knight to d3 was played, and now it's Victor is thinking about his move. Let's see, what is he thinking about? Can we probably, okay, so our number one candidate move would be probably just snap that knight off the board on d3. Because the immediate threat is knight takes on c5 and knight takes on e5. What else can we do here with black? I wonder if Victor is thinking about something very courageous, like maybe like a rook h to e8, and maybe take on d4. Now I want to move my bishop somewhere. And then it's going to be a discovered check. The problem is that white can probably just make a simple king move to f2. And suddenly the king feels very comfortable on f2. That's not a castle for the king. That's like the king is sleeping on the couch. But it's still a very good couch. Right? So... yeah, it's going to be exciting to see how black continues in this position after knight to d3. Let's check this variation. Knight takes d3 check. Bishop takes on d3. Okay, so again, if black can always exchange the queens, but I don't think that this is what Victor wants. Because once the queen get off the board, it's going to be much easier for white to make a draw. So how do we keep the queens on the board? I can play bishop b4, but then white can just play c3. I don't like that option so much. Maybe he has to take. So take, rook takes, and now black is going to take on d4 with the pawn. And in this position, looks pretty equal to me right now. Maybe white will castle in the end. Maybe we will see a castle finally. Yeah, it's very unusual. This is move number 14 right now, and still white did not castle. Now we know that white makes the first move in chess, so he's the one who's supposed to castle faster. But yeah, in this case, black castled long side. It's going to be interesting to see. And again, by the way, look at their time. We just mentioned that they are in move number 14. They only have about 10 minutes. So 10 minutes for Andre and 13 minutes to Victor. They have to make almost 30 moves, 26 moves in 10 minutes.
That's outrageous. I mean, they're gonna really have to start moving quickly.
Yeah. Did they decide they want to play Blitz today instead of classical chess?
Hey, let's just let's give it some time, and then we'll blitz it out to get to move 40.
Yeah,
where they
exactly.
get an extra half hour on each clock. But yeah, 9 to 12.
It looks like there was a move played on the board. I think there was some kind of a capture. Yeah, there was knight takes d3 check was played. I'm pretty sure white has to recapture with the bishop. I don't see any other way. If he captures with the pawn, then black can always play bishop to b4 and pin that queen. Pretty sure that the bishop has to take on d3. Yeah, and this is what was played. Queen takes d2 check. And now probably rook takes d2 would be the move that I would play. Actually,
What about bishop takes?
Right. Bishop takes on d2. Well, you know me. Moves that
you don't like going backwards. Yeah,
exactly.
That's against the rules. Sorry. My bad.
So bishop takes on d2 was played. I wonder what is the difference now. Pawn takes on d4 will probably be played. And let's say white will castle here. I think black is fine. I mean, this pawn on d4 gets black the space advantage, and probably rook h2 e8 or something like that. And I think black is fine. Also, there are some ideas like playing a6. Let's see. So interesting game. All right, maybe we can check some other games.
Yeah, let's go ahead. Over in Group A, we still have 3 active games, and we haven't looked at Surya Ganguly and Jeffrey Zhang yet. So let's take a glance at that game.
Yeah, so Jeffrey Zhang right now, he's leading. And let's see what is going on. So Jeffrey is playing with the black pieces, and Surya Ganguly is playing with white. So far, it looks pretty equal. This pawn on d4 is a backwards pawn. Black is trying to put some pressure on this pawn. On the other hand, white blockaded black's pawns on here on b5. Let's see what can white do? Well, probably my rook on e1 can be improved. Question is, where do I put this rook on e1? I have so many ideas. Rook d1, rook c1, probably even rook to b1. It all depending on the plan. I can either put the pressure on b6. I can either defend my pawn on d4. Or I can try to invade on the c file. There might be another idea, a plan like rook to e3 and rook to f3. Maybe to try to attack this pawn on f7, but I doubt that this is going to happen. So far it's looking to me pretty equal. The knight will probably jump to d5 to blockade that pawn. So let's see how did we get to this position. So c4 was played as the first move. c5, we have the English defense already. d5, knight takes d5. This is all pretty much a theory. Bishop to b5. Knight takes c3. Pawn takes c3. Now castle. 6, d4. Okay, so white got a handle in the center with this move d4. We have lots of developing moves. e4, g3. So far I like how white is playing, getting some advantage here. Takes, and b6. Bishop e7 takes with a few exchanges here. Knight d6, rook d8, e5, and knight to c8. Yeah, this knight on d6 is a criminal, and we cannot leave him over there. So that's why
You should really work in that term every day. I would really appreciate it if you could call one of these chess pieces a criminal every day. I really like it. All right, continue. I'm sorry.
Thank you. So knight takes on e8 and queen takes on e8. Yeah. So if this is the criminal, maybe the knight on c8 is the policeman, right? Is the
Fair assessment.
Yeah. Knight takes e8, queen takes e8, queen f8. A very positional game. Again, I like White's position slightly more. His pieces are definitely a bit more active, but the question is, how do we make progress with White? And there were a few moves that were played. Let's see what happened in the game. Queen e8, queen to b3 was played, putting some pressure on the b6 pawn. Rook takes d6, d4, rook takes b6, and now it is black to move. So Jeffrey's move. Okay, so let's say he's just going to exchange the rooks, and now his rook is hanging, and the pawn is hanging on a5. So how do we manage to defend both of them? Well, we can either play rook a4, but if we play rook a4, I'm scared that White can play something like rook d1, and then we have some back rank mate threats. So that won't be good for black. The other move, it would be queen a4 also leaves the back rank exposed. So maybe his only option is to play queen to d8. And after queen d8, basically to offer a queen exchange. And if queen takes d8, rook takes d8, looks pretty equal to me. Those players are just too good. So let's see. I think that rook takes b6 was played in the game. Queen takes b6 is going to be in the game, and yeah, looks pretty equal. Yeah, we see the Surya taking that rook. And I think the queen d8 was played. And now the question is, will Surya exchange the queens, or he will try to leave them on the board, maybe playing something like queen a7 or queen a6. Maybe the queen from here puts some pressure on the rook, the pawn, and the knight. So yeah, it's hard to tell right now. All right, so this was this game. Let's see some other games.
You know, we haven't really talked too much about Surya Ganguly, and I didn't know him before this event. 35-year-old Indian player who actually, I just learned this, he was part of Team Vishy Anand.
Wow.
As far as Vishy's seconds going into the World Championship defenses. 2008, 2010, and 2012, he was a part of that team. And those were all successful defenses for Anand, who only lost the title in 2013 to, who else? Magnus Carlsen. So that's a pretty cool fact there from Surya Ganguly, who now is playing in St. Louis.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. By the way, for the viewers who do not know, a second, it's almost like a coach.
Yes.
So even the top 10 chess players in the world, like Magnus Carlsen and Vishy Anand and all the top chess players, even though they're the strongest in their field, they still need somebody to train with, and this is what we call a second. So usually a coach is somebody who is high rated.
Right.
But I mean, obviously probably Magnus can coach or Vishy can coach other people, but you still want to train with those people. So the goal of the second is trying to play some games, practice games, maybe even try to find some theoretical ideas, theoretical novelties for those players. So it's very important.
Well, you still need a strong player to maybe not replicate, but to work with, you know.
Right.
And of course, the best players are playing against each other, so you can't get them.
Yeah.
So do what you can.
Exactly. So we will see. We will see if we're able to spice up the game over here. Let's look at some other games. What about Yaroslav Zherbuch versus Brezon?
Yes, that is the last active game we have yet to look at.
What is going on here? Okay, so white. At first, I thought that white is 3 pawns up, but then I figured it can be possible that he's just 3 pawns up. So apparently, white has 3 pawns for a knight. So black has a knight for 3 pawns, and pretty much, the knight is worth 3 points, 3 pawns. So it almost seems like a draw, but I can promise you this will not be a draw. This is my prediction.
Okay. Okay. No draw here.
No draw in this position. I think that the pawns are quite scattered. Look at those rooks on the e file. I think that black has a very nice blockade on d5. I really like black's position. Without involving the piece for the 3 pawns, but I really like black's position, and I think he has pretty good chances to complicate things in this game. I'm not sure what will be his next move. Maybe to try to capture on e5, or maybe to try and attack, maybe something like h5, h4. But I think that Yao will try to find a way to his first win in this tournament. It's pretty interesting. Let's look at how this position happened. What happened in the? So we see again d4. By the way, everybody is playing d4 this round.
It's funny how things go in and out of fashion in chess, right?
Yeah. So d4 and c4 is kind of, I guess, more fashionable in this tournament. So yeah. We had g3, bishop g2, d5, queen to a4. Okay. So we have some development here. Queen c2, bishop g4. I would assume both players came prepared. It looks pretty much like theory. c5. So the idea of this move c5 is actually pretty important. We see it in all of those structures. Black wants to exchange a side pawn for a central pawn on d4, and thus not giving white this huge advantage in the center. Queen e4, bishop to e6, and queen takes b7. Okay, so here goes the first pawn. Let's start the counting. How do we get to 3 pawns? Knight to b4. So basically, black says, okay, I lost a pawn, but I get the initiative. Knight to g5, bishop c8, queen e4, pawn takes, pawn to a3, takes. White is still only 1 pawn up, but now black plays e5 with a threat on the knight on g5. Knight defended, okay, h6, and now knight take f7. But look at that. So why can't the knight go back? Probably because now black can play something like a bishop f5, and to get the initiative. This knight on h3 is so passive. We usually don't want to put our pieces on the edge of the board, especially not the knights. It's very difficult to get them out of there. I don't know when this knight is going to come back to life. So maybe this is why it was probably a difficult decision for white here to sacrifice.
If bishop f5, is the queen totally trapped there?
And not exactly trapped, because she can probably move somewhere back.
Oh, she moved back. Okay.
Yeah. You probably it's probably because of me. No backward moves, right?
Right.
Only forward.
I have learned your rules. I will not make any more infractions.
Never retreat, never surrender.
Yes.
So let's see. So knight takes f7. A very interesting sacrifice. White here. White got the two other pawns. Rook e1. Okay. We have some maneuvers with the pieces. Queen to d2 was played. Let's see if we can refresh the board and see what happened then. So yes, so after queen d2, black did play g5. He's trying to expand on the king side, although I think that the white king is pretty safe. And now white played rook to c1. Huh, a very, very interesting position. I don't see a way how can black get the advantage. The problem is that white does not have any major weaknesses. I mean, this pawn on d4 is isolated, but I doubt that black can easily attack it. I mean, the bishop is defending it, the queen is defending, and yeah, it's gonna. I think it's going to be messy. I mean, some tactics is going to go here. It's going to happen, and definitely it will be good for us to stay tuned for this game.
Oh, for sure, yeah. Definitely one of the ones to watch.
Okay, let's look at the how the draws were figured today. Let's look at Sam Shankland, who drew against Edward Romain. I think that Sam had all draws so far, right?
Yes, Sam has drawn every game thus far. I mean, he's undefeated.
Yeah, which is good. Yes, I guess so. The draw master. D4, D5, C4. So we have the Queen's Gambit accepted. That's when the black accepts the sacrifice on C4. E3, E6, C5 castle. So basically, white looks like white developed all of his pieces, but now black gains a few tempos. And now D5, I think this is an important move. Trying to create some kind of a counterplay with a bunch of exchanges. You see, black does not take with the knight. He does not want to exchange queens because maybe he wants to keep fighting. A4, B4, E4, and rook to A2. That's an interesting move here, rook A2. Probably the idea is to push B3 and swing the rook to D2. I wonder if it's just a bit too slow. I wonder if white can play something like E5 and maybe sacrifice. I really want to see this E file being open. Rook A2 was played, rook to D8, B3, rook D2. Okay. With a few exchanges. Queen E6. Finally, black castles, and it looks like black is not worse here. I mean, it all depends on this pawn on C5. Sometimes it can become a weakness, sometimes it's a strength. It looks like we had a few more exchanges here coming in. Yeah, I would say it's a pretty even game. Exchange. Take, and they agreed for a draw, probably because the rook would just take on A4, and that is just a draw. Now, compared to the game that VAR had yesterday with the kings, here we have also two rooks. So with the rooks, it's most likely to be a draw.
Yeah.
We can just swing the rook around just to wait. Black does not have any weaknesses. Now, if you take off the rooks of the board, well, white will probably have the slight advantages. His king is a bit more in the center, but still probably close to a draw. So, yeah.
And the other game between Daros Svirts and Alex Ipatov, which I believe was the first game that ended, that was a draw as well, Group A. How did this happen?
All right, so let's see. So as I see in the final position, what we have here is an opposite side, opposite color bishop endgame. And in such endgames, it's usually going to end up in a draw. It's just those bishops are just they can't fight against each other. So
I like to think they're on different planes of existence, different dimensions. They can't talk to each other. They can't fight. Nothing.
I see.
Draw.
No eye contact.
No. Draw.
So yeah, so basically the idea for white is that white can just place his bishop here on c4, and black cannot make any progress. I mean, not black, not white, they cannot make any progress. Those pawns are just stuck. These pawns on the king side, they are also pretty stuck. So it's quite understandable why they agreed for a draw. Let's see how it happened. Again, we have d4 as the first move, okay. This opening is called the Catalan, when white is fianchettoing his bishop on g2. This is pretty much all theory. Usually black has the option of taking on c4, but then white would probably regain this pawn by playing something like queen a4, knight e5, or queen to c2. So black decided, okay, I'm just going to play it safe, just to play c6. And then he developed his bishop to b7. That's a pretty standard idea. Now he took on c4. We have knight d5, a few exchanges. This is actually all looks pretty theoretical to me. This is move number 15. We have a few exchanges again. b5. a4. So white did get the control over the d file, but not much you can do with that. I assume that black's idea would be just to exchange all those rooks of the board. Yeah, so this is pretty much what happened, and now black's idea would be just to exchange the queens, and black played b4, and it's a draw. By the way, for example, even if black would play this move, c4, and even if black gets to this kind of an endgame, even if pawn down, even this is considered a draw. A pretty easy draw for black to make, again because of the opposite color bishop endgames. So good game. I think that all the players came very prepared this time.
Yeah, and there's no reason not to be. You know, a round robin situation, you can study up on all of the opposition, and like we said on the outset, a lot of these draws just means it's closer to perfect chess.
Yes,
you know? If chess was a solved game, one would think a draw.
Yeah.
So.
Did you know that the checkers is a solved game, by the way?
I did know that. You can play a checkers engine. It's not an engine. Checkers database online, and you're never going to beat it. The best you can do is a draw, and you're not going to draw.
Yeah. So the final result is a draw, right? If both players, white and black, they play perfectly, I would assume it's supposed to end in a draw.
It might be a win for the first player that moves. I don't remember admittedly.
Okay.
You know, it's one or the other.
Yeah.
But
hopefully it will never happen to chess. What if chess would get solved? I hope not.
Chess is so deep.
Right. You can go backwards and forward with chess. I mean, you have billions of options. In checkers, you can only go forward, so you have finite amount of moves. In checkers, in chess, you can go backwards.
Well, remember you can king. In checkers.
That's true, but that's
back.
Yeah.
All right. And then now I'm just being told, someone said that it's a win for the second player in checkers. Whatever.
Oh,
go to Wikipedia and look at it.
Yeah. And I'll leave a comment on our YouTube channel.
Yeah. Say these guys are morons. They don't know. Checkers is a win for the referee. You know, like come on. I don't know. But yeah, it is interesting. When we mean solved game, there is a database that exists for every possible position in a game, whether we're talking about Connect 4 or checkers. And theoretically in chess, you have to start from the from the end of the game in chess and work your way with more and more pieces. And as you do that, exponentially it becomes such a mammoth operation just to store these positions.
Right.
It's
Lots
not
of
getting
info.
solved in our lifetime, Vitaly.
No,
Don't
probably
worry.
not. But we have something close in chess, and we have the Nalimov database, the endgame database.
Yes.
And so I think it's up to 5 pieces, maybe more.
You can do the free version that's available online of the endgame table base, and you can just Google it. You can do up to 6 pieces, but you can't do 5-on-1 situations. I'm not sure what that's all about. So all these pieces ganging up on a king can't do it. Don't have those positions, but all other 6-game endgame table bases you could. Varakobian's position that he won yesterday, you could put that in a table base.
Right. It's going to immediately show you the result. Right?
Yes,
That position
mate
was
in
sold.
12, mate in 359. There's some crazy positions. It's really fun to play with, actually, the endgame table base.
359
It is a fun thing.
I wonder how you don't get the 50-move rule and draw that.
Well, that's the thing. It doesn't take that into account.
Uh-huh.
So in practice, yeah, the 50-move draw rule would be invoked. 50 moves without a capture or a pawn push, either player can claim a draw. But in the world of table base, you can go a little bit longer.
Yeah, sure. Sounds like fun. 300 moves. It's probably going to take us like a day.
There's some crazy ones. Andrei Gorovets and Viktor Mikhailevsky, our game of the day in Group B, they're getting into some strict time trouble, but let's look at that in just a bit here, Vitaly, and take a break for a moment.
Okay.
Let's go get a coffee or something. We'll be back here in just a couple minutes for the rest of the Round 4 analysis of the Spring Chess Classic.
Question on Twitter from Damas. I should not have pronounced that. That was a bit of a trap, yeah?
For those of you who are new to chess, it might look like ba3 is an illegal move here because white advances pawn 2 squares, not 1. But it's a little something we call en passant. And you can do that, but you have to do it instantly. You can't wait for a move, like let's say play king e7, king g2, and now try, because... Should I do it?
I'm sorry. This is too funny for words.
This is a software glitch? I'm pretty sure there's not allowed.
Lawrence. Hello, Lawrence. Yeah, I'll play 4 against Lawrence. And now he's going to play something against me which we discussed at length during the course of my stay. Yeah, he told me this is excellent. d5, this was what I was kind of hoping for, because now I think e5 is quite strong. No, Lawrence, this is not how chess works. Sadly, it would be much, much more fun if chess actually worked like this. But I don't think it does. Or maybe it does. Well, that's me regretting what I just said. How did I get from there to here is a little bit beyond me. And what's worse, I will never hear the end of it. My quality of life has just gone downhill tremendously because I'm actually sharing the office with the guy.
I'm Mike Matheny. Whether you play chess for fun or want to boost your child's academic performance, come visit the Chess Club and Scholastic Center of St. Louis, right here in the chess capital of the U.S. From a welcoming, diverse environment to a scholastic outreach program, now in over 100 schools, our center, across from the World Chess Hall of Fame in the Central West End, has it all. So whether you've played for years or never before, we invite you to experience all chess has to offer.
There's a weekend vacation, a one-tank trip in a nearby city you won't want to skip. St. Louis is the stop for non-stop fun. So much fun for your family, infinity plus a ton. There's museums full of art and super fun slides, upside-down concretes, twisty, turny rides, houses full of magic, some with butterflies, gardens growing flowers, parks with giant eyes. St. Louis is the stop for non-stop fun. So much fun for your family, infinity plus a ton.
A moment comes in chess when you need to test yourself at a different level. Chess 24 Premium offers the tools that you need to reach your maximum potential. From hundreds of interactive video lessons to becoming part of the Chess 24 community. You can analyze with friends or coach your students live. You get 24/7 coverage of chess news and events, access to premium analysis and commentary, and the chance to interact with grandmasters and other top players and coaches. Get advice from the best and even challenge them to a battle. Be the best chess player you can be. It's time to level up your game with Chess 24 Premium membership.
And we're back here in St. Louis for the 2018 Spring Chess Classic. We're in the midst of round number 4. My name is Ben Simon.
And I'm Vitaly Neimer.
And we've had some developments during the break. Vitaly, what should we look at first?
All right, well, let's look at the game of the day in Group A, Group B, Viktor Michalewski versus Andrei Gorovets. We left it saying, okay, well, they exchanged their queens, and it looks like Viktor did take on d4, and white played b4, trying to fight for advantage. The bishop went to b6, a4. So even in the endgame, we have some kind of attacking chances here. The idea is to play, obviously, to play a5 and push this bishop backwards. That's why black played a6, a5. Okay, did we see? Yeah, we did see lots of exchanges here. Knight to d5, coming to snap this pawn. Bishop takes b5, knight takes b6. Bishop going back, knight to c4, bishop f4. So we do see that the king did come to f2, b5, rook h e1. Now king b7 was played. Let's see, I think we had a few other moves played, and then white played h4, and black played the move h6. Now they are in move number 26, and they have only 2 minutes. 2 minutes on the clock. So this is pretty much 2 minutes for 14 moves. I mean, this is like 20 seconds per move.
Yeah, I mean, they're really getting down to the wire here. 12 moves less to time control. G4 and King B6 was played here.
Queen B6. Okay. Okay, so I wonder who has the advantage now.
And Bishop takes C4.
Bishop takes C4. Okay. That's a big decision to take to exchange the bishop for the knight, and I wonder if black will take with the pawn or the bishop. Well, if he takes with the bishop, then he might lose a pawn. Let's look at this. Take on d4. Well, luckily for black, he has this move. Bam. Rook to e2. After the king moves, he can take on c2. Now, just as a reminder, if we exchange both of the rooks, we're going to again get to this opposite color bishop endgame.
Draw, right?
Yes, we don't want to see a draw. We want to see some fire on the chessboard, and so let's see what has happened. White did not take on. White did take on c4. Black did take with the bishop. And now white played bishop to e5. And this is a pretty good move. The idea is to attack the g7 pawn and d4 pawn.
Vitaly, big development here going on in Group A between Surya Ganguly and Jeffrey Zhang. It looks like Zhang is about to win this game here.
Really?
And Ganguly's really low on time. Yeah, let's
look at that game.
I think we should definitely glance over at Group A here for a moment.
Wow, as far when we left this game, Jeffrey's queen and rook were all the way not developed. So what has happened? So we left in around this position, and this is where I said that black did play queen d8, and he offered white the exchange of queens, and basically white had to figure out, do I exchange queens and kind of get into a drawish position or keep the queens on the board? And white decided to keep the queens on the board, and I wonder if it was the mistake of the game to keep the queens on the board. I know sometimes we just want to win too much, and we're trying to spice the position too much, and that's actually not too good for us because we're missing some things. Now rook e4 was played, knight f5, rook a4. So white is going for this pawn on a5, but I wonder if black can find a very unique counterplay. I mean, this bishop on f3 is kind of hanging around. His king is not defended at all. So let's see what happened. Queen d3. Wow, very nice attacking move, attacking the bishop, and rook to a3. Yeah, now I feel like the white pieces are not working together. I mean, the queen on c5 looks pretty good, and let's try to figure out what can be black's next move. Well, let's start with the first candidate move, which are checks. Queen b1 check. Let's try to check here on b1. King g2 is pretty forced. And how can we continue then? I'm sure there is something here. Maybe something like knight to d4, attacking this bishop. Very interesting. Now also Surya has only 1 minute on the clock, and they are at move number 38 according to this. And let's see, I think there was a move played. And black played this move, queen to e1, put some more pressure on the f2 pawn. And let's see, what is the idea? What is the idea? Maybe again knight to d4?
And Vitaly, while we're considering this, we have an update on our dark games in Group B. I do know that Akshat Chandra and Priyadarshan Kanapan have drawn their game. As well, there was a decision in Turkish Grandmaster JJ Ali Marandi, his game, as he defeated Jack Stembuliak. So Ali Marandi, congrats to him. Hopefully we'll be able to talk to him. Not sure yet, but yeah, it's all coming down to the wire here.
Yeah, it's good to know. It's good to know. So in this game, looks like Surya has 35 seconds, and he needs to make a decision. He needs to make just 2 more moves to get another 30 minutes on the clock, but it's a very tough decision to make.
And then you have up to 30 minutes to look at your crippled position.
Exactly.
And make a decision.
30 minutes to suffer, yes. So, queen to e1. So Surya decided to snap this a5 pawn off the board, and I wonder what happens after knight to e3 check. I think this was Jeffrey's idea. This was his plan. This is what we call in chess the poison pawn. This pawn was, I'm pretty sure, it was pretty poisoned. Now knight to e3 will be coming. King to h3. Now white will have his 40 moves done, but let's see if we can somehow get the king. Check on f1. King has to go to h4, and now let's check him again with the knight. that's why I call the hunting season.
Yeah.
So the king can go to g4 or g5, but I gotta say, I mean, I don't even know. Let's try g5, but then there's h6. Ooh, maybe in this position, white can try to play king to f6.
Do you have any tricks?
There are no more checks. And actually, maybe white is the one who wants to checkmate black with the rook a8 and then queen f8 and so on. Look at that. But unfortunately for white, this will be after Jeffrey would get another 30 minutes. So I'm pretty sure that we are going to see knight e3 check, king h3 and queen to f1. We will see this on the board. I'm pretty positive. And then Jeffrey will have to think about how do I continue, how do I prevent this move king to f6. And then we have to think about how about king g7? So what if black tries to play king g7? Let's see. Okay, so yeah, it looks like this game is going to be pretty exciting. After king g7. Yeah, it looks like black is just letting this move h6 almost mate. Almost mate. And then rook comes to d4, checks the king. Yeah, it looks pretty bad for white now. Okay, so we would like to welcome one of the grandmasters, JJ Morandi. Welcome to our show.
Yeah, thank you very much.
And you won today, right?
Yes, I won.
All right, congratulations! And you won against Jake Stembulak.
That's right.
Now, unfortunately, we did not see the game live, but maybe you can tell us a little bit about the game.
Sure.
I'm sure you prepared for the game, right? And
well, the pairings were up was like 2 weeks ago, and with coach Alejandro Ramirez, we had checked some of my opponent's games, but we couldn't really prepare move by move because he was playing a lot of stuff. So we decided to play the Trompowsky eventually, but I think I already mixed the move order in like move 3 after bishop g5, which was slightly embarrassing.
Yeah.
And I had 2 midterm exams this morning. So after the midterms, I just came without checking another line, and my opponent played actually what we have expected, but I just haven't refreshed it in the last 2 weeks. So.
Nice. So you just relied on your instincts, I guess.
Yeah, but I actually blundered a few pawns, and I was probably worse all the game. But it turned out I was lucky at some point.
Now you're from Turkey, but you live here in St. Louis, right?
Yes, I am from Turkey, but I study in St. Louis University. I'm a sophomore, so it's my 2nd year.
Nice. What's your major?
I'm majoring in computer engineering.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Very interesting. Yeah, so you're a sophomore. Very nice, very nice. How do you like St. Louis so far? But pretty much, probably a bit more different than Turkey, right?
Well, definitely it is different, but chess-wise and school-wise, everything's perfect. I'm very happy to be here and looking forward for the other years to come.
Nice, nice. By the way, your English is pretty good.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. All right, so maybe you want to show us some of the moves of the game.
Yeah.
All right, so did you
start? D4, knight f6, bishop g5,
all right,
e6. Normally I played e4, but this game we prepared knight d2, so I stick to that. And c5 was my opponent's choice. And I already confused it. I think normally it's probably e3, but I played e4.
E4.
Because as far as I remember, there was lines with e4, but I think that's after h6, bishop h4 included.
Okay.
So I played e4 here. He took on d4.
Did he play pretty fast? Or?
No, he was very surprised after e4 because I was blitzing out the moves, but
Yeah.
he thought it was some preparation.
You
But it
showed
was
some
actually
confidence.
confusion from my side.
Very nice.
Okay.
Psychological
Yeah.
chess.
Took, I played e5. And of course, the big difference between h6 and bishop h4 included, he has queen h4 here, queen a5 here, sorry.
Oh,
And he played it.
I see. So there's some kind of a pin here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Knight f3, knight e4.
Knight to e4.
Yeah. Now he's attacking the bishop and threatening queen takes e5 ideas. So I played bishop f4, knight c6, bishop d3. I feel like black is already better. Knight takes d2, bishop takes, bishop b4.
Yeah. So far he's a pawn up.
He's a pawn up, and
Right.
it's a very strong pawn. If we go for some endgame, he can break with f6 and stabilize his d4 pawn. So after realizing everything went wrong out of the opening, and the worst thing is I can lose, I just took on b4, and because my other option was to play a3, and after bishop d2, queen d2, and to suffer this endgame,
Right.
which is pointless with white. So I played bishop takes b4,
Good decision.
takes, and I played c3 because at this point I just want to castle and hope for some counterplay. Let's hope for the best. So dc3, castle's short, sacrificed that as well. He took on b2, rook b1. So I'm 3 pawns down, but he has an uncastled king and still has to develop a few pieces. So
Right.
I was kind of counting on that.
Yeah. This bishop on c8 is.
Yeah,
is
he
having
didn't
trouble.
finish his development yet, so I thought I have some
Compensation.
compensation, at least practically.
Right.
He played b6. I think it's a very good move, because if he would castle, there are ideas like bishop h7, which I am not sure if it works, but it might be working someday after takes knight g5.
Right.
Maybe not necessarily here, but
Maybe in the future.
in the future.
The
so-
Greek gift sacrificed.
Yeah, anything can happen on an undeveloped queen side. So b6. I played rook e1. I'm defending my pawn on e5, and maybe rook e4 ideas. Bishop b7 and knight g5. So I want to go knight e4 or something like this,
Yeah.
and
Probably.
try to.
Probably not to take on h7 yet. I
No,
think that's-
maybe I want to play queen h5 or
Uh-huh.
something like this, some attacking moves. But he's definitely winning, probably. He played queen f4.
Yeah. Usually the problem in such positions for black is that he has so many options.
That's very true, yes. And you never know which one is the best in a practical game.
Yeah. He probably spent a lot of time
Yes,
as well.
he was trying to identify which one is the correct approach and lost some time and eventually got into time trouble. So here I played knight e4. I thought this is nice because I thought he missed this trick. After queen takes e5, I have bishop a6, which is winning the queen. Not necessarily I'm better because he takes it on a6, knight d6, king e7. And after all these exchanges, if he takes, I take. So that's
Good
fine
take.
for me.
Okay.
But king e7,
King e7.
I take it, knight e5. Probably black is still fine, but at least I have some counterplay for my...
Yeah. How does he take the rooks
pieces.
out? It's gonna take a
Yeah,
while.
it's going to take a while, and at least I'm not dead lost as it was probably before. So that was
Interesting.
fine. So but he castled here, so that was actually not the problem with him. He actually saw bishop a6.
So he castled.
here, yes. I played knight d6, which is probably not precise, but maybe not so bad eventually. I think he has to play rook b8 or knight a5 here, as we have just discussed with him. He played knight takes e5, which is very interesting, I have to say.
Sacrifice the bishop.
Sacrifice the bishop for more initiative rather than cramped pieces.
So the best move was maybe rook to b8 just to defend the bishop. You're saying?
I think so. It was better from my perspective. Because rook e4, I don't get anywhere. He can just go to h6 with his queen, and he's fine, I guess. So maybe he has to play this, but I'm still having some counterplay probably. Maybe
Right.
queen g5, I go f4, maybe f5 ideas.
Yeah, eventually you're going to take the b2
I'm
pawn.
going to take it, I'll be 2 pawns down, and I'm still playing, not resigning yet. So
Yeah.
I have chances, and
Alright.
we shall see. So
So instead, he decided to sacrifice.
I took on b7.
It makes sense because at least he's trying to release his pieces
Right.
after a while. So
He played knight g4. I think that's not very accurate either. Played h3. I think that's my only move.
right,
Because
so
he's
you want-
attacking everything, yeah.
So okay,
h3, queen f2. Not very sure how precise these are because king h1. And he played a move which I was not expecting at all. He played f5, which is very crazy, I think.
sacrificing another
Yeah,
piece.
but if I take, he has like queen h4 and then fg, always threatening g3 mate. So I'm not sure how I defend that. I think I played the only move here, bishop b5. Because my idea is I want to take on d7 and then take on e6, and in some lines my bishop was coming to h3, blocking the mate on h2. In some hypothetical lines, but probably not so wrong. And I think black somehow has to settle for a draw by finding it, but he played rook c8, ac8.
Maybe rook c2. is
Yeah,
coming.
rook c2 or rook c3, some ideas. I took on d7 with the queen.
Queen. Okay.
He played rook c2, queen e6.
Very sharp.
Very sharp, yes.
Very sharp
It
game.
suddenly got very tactical, and he was under a minute or two. So I was taking my time because I had more time than him.
Very
So
good.
king h8, played bishop e2.
Bishop e2.
Yeah, and I think here he panicked. He had to play queen g3, but he took on e1.
Oh, he took on e1.
Yeah,
Interesting.
rook takes, rook
Yeah,
c1,
Mhm.
bishop d3. And I thought this was actually a draw. Knight f2,
So he's kind of defending against the
Yeah.
promotion.
knight f2 check. Thought this was actually a draw. King h2, he took on d3, queen takes f5,
Bam.
and
Nice.
he
Nice
probably
move.
has to play rook b8 here, which is draw, I think. He played rook fc8, trying to
C.
c8, yeah.
This one.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So initially I thought this was a draw after I play rook f1, he goes h6 and he holds. But then I realized I have knight d6 and I played this
Oh, okay.
because I'm threatening knight c8. And here the main problem was b1 queen, which he didn't play. And after that I was gonna play, I can take knight c8, or actually I have knight f7 check. This was very nice, I thought.
Check and king g8.
And knight g5. I thought this was winning.
Oh, you're rook down, but you're winning.
Yeah, he has no checks. And the funny line was knight e5 he can play, covering mate on h7. And queen e6, I think I give check here.
Yeah.
King, yeah, and knight f7, I think here it's mate.
Oh, okay. And he cannot take the knight
Queen
because of the queen e8.
Yeah.
With king g8, and we have the smuggle mate.
Yeah, but I have to first take the knight on e5, because knight on e5 covers.
Right.
But of course, this is actually not necessary to do. I have many other wins in the... I was actually going to play this, but... maybe he actually can go king f8, actually, after... so maybe this was actually unnecessary. King f8, I think he's fine here. Because the queen on b1 defends h7.
Still looks very dangerous for him.
Yeah, it does, but I think...
Yeah.
Yeah, I probably have to be precise.
Okay, so instead of promoting to a queen, he
He played knight takes e1.
Knight takes e1.
Yeah.
Okay.
Knight c8, h5, knight e7. Now, if he promotes b1, I just take on h5 and then queen e8 mate.
Right.
So he played knight f3 check. I took it with the pawn, and because my
Last try.
queen covers everything.
Yeah.
Even if he gives check on h1, I just take it, and he just resigned here.
Well, nice. Congratulations. It looks like the game was very tactical.
Yeah, very tactical, very complicated, and I don't know. It was just.
Yeah. Do you have any advice for our viewers at home? You know how to improve your tactics. You know any drills or exercises you're doing? Any puzzles or just play a lot?
Well, I just play a lot of blitz games, I guess, and I like sharp games. So overall, I just like hit tactical and just try to attack as much as possible.
Nice. And the next game you're going to play against, do you know who
I
you're playing?
play Michalewski against
Michalewski.
Black. Yeah.
Okay. Well, congratulations again for your win, and good luck in your next game.
Thanks.
And we are going to actually interview another teammate of yours from your school, Yaroslav Zherebuch.
That's right.
So if you guys want to join us, let's look at his game, what happened. So Yaroslav's game. Let's see what happened in that game. Where is this game?
Yeah, our game of the day, GM is, or Group A is drawn a Cobian's game.
Here it is. Okay. Okay, so let's look what happened in this game. So d4 was played during the game. Knight to f6, c4, g6, g3, and then c6, and bishop to g2, and then d5. All right. Well. Here with us we have Yaro Zherebuch. Thank you for joining us today. Congratulations for the win.
Yep, thank you.
I know that you're also from St. Louis, right? You're studying here at SLU.
Yeah, I'm local, let's say.
Nice. So tell us about this game. I assume you prepared a little bit.
No, I actually didn't prepare. I'm serious. I was like, well, he can play d4, he can play e4, he can play knight f3, he can play c4. I'm like, no, I'll just go work out and, just relax and have some fun, whatever.
Yeah, looks like it's the best skill for today. I think JJ Morandi also said,
well, okay, it was a different case. He just blundered a bunch of pawns, and, well, I didn't blunder that much, okay, so...
Well, nice. Well, congratulations. So, so the game started with the d4, just knight f6, g6, g3. I assume this is pretty much all theory.
Yeah, queen a4 as well as a theoretical line. And the normal move here, well, most frequently played, I believe, is knight f6 to d7. And then c takes d5, knight b6, queen d1, and then c takes d5. And that's, well, and the game is relatively boring. Well, a slight pressure from white, and I believe Carlsen played like this a couple of times, and the general crowd just picked up this line. But I don't see black winning this game, so I just decided to go for something more fun, because this position, okay, maybe I make a draw after some struggle, but it's just no fun to play. So
yeah. So you played for the win?
Well, I just played for interesting chess, let's say.
Nice.
So after bishop g7, c takes d5, I actually was thinking if I should play short castle. This is actually a possibility.
Okay.
But I just couldn't remember at all. I mean, I briefly looked at this, well, kind of as a joke, actually, because what if I just give up a pawn?
Yeah.
But I just couldn't remember. D takes c6, knight c6, knight f3. And then, let's say, knight d7.
Looks like an interesting novelty.
Yeah, and if e3, then e5, that's good for black, but I just couldn't remember what if queen d1 instead of e3. I mean...
queen
It's
d1 here.
maybe it's playable for black. I'm not sure why I'm
So
giving
you're still
up
gonna
this.
play knight b6?
Yeah,
something?
maybe I should save it for the for the future
For the next
games. No,
time,
no,
yeah,
never
yeah.
mind. Okay, cancel.
Yeah,
cancel.
delete this part.
Okay.
Okay, so interesting.
But I couldn't remember, so I just took on d5, and it's also playable. It's way more interesting than knight fd7 and knight b6. So
Right.
yeah.
So knight takes, knight f3, then knight has to go to b6. Can you just, is there a difference if you just castle here?
I think so. Yeah, there is some difference. I'm not quite sure what is it, but
Okay.
I just want to kind of define his queen right away, and I believe here he should have played queen a3, but I'm not entirely sure. This is just my speculation. I just think so. Queen a3. The idea is that I don't have this bishop g4s, and he just sacks the pawn, and queen on a3 is actually guarding. I mean, it's looking at e7 pawn in some lines, like after bishop g5. I don't know, just something like that.
I see. Yeah, it's hard to know where the queen should go.
Yeah, somehow I believe I was more afraid of queen a3, but queen c2, and I think this is.
Yeah, it looks like harmless for you, right?
Yeah, I
just
mean,
keep developing.
Yeah, I developed so many pieces.
Yeah.
I felt
The
good.
middle game was pretty exciting, right? So you just developed a few pieces. c5 was important, right? You're trying to undermine the center.
I need to do that. Yeah.
And then queen e4. Maybe this was. Maybe he had to understand that he's not better here anymore, and maybe try to exchange a few pieces. Maybe taking on c5. I mean, this bishop on c1 is.
Yeah, but then I wasn't sure like how exactly dc, rook c8, maybe knight e4. I mean, on knight b3, let's say. I can even go, let's say, knight to d7, and you know, it seems like a simple game for black.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely looks pretty good. So, bishop, queen.
I mean, probably about equal anyway, because just not enough. I have to give up the light square bishop at some point and take on c5. I mean, white should be okay. But yeah, that's probably the best way for him to play. I think he just missed bishop e6. Well, based on his really long thinking after this one, he spent maybe like half an hour.
Yeah.
And I got too relaxed, I have to admit.
And then queen takes b7, so I assume that it was all planned.
Yeah, knight b4, yeah, so that's what I calculated. And after queen e4, once he after queen e4, actually I'm great. But knight g5, yeah, and here I started having multiple glitches. Just many of them, really. Okay, so bishop c8, I think, is forced. And then here, I wasn't sure, maybe I should play, well, I honestly just missed, I mean, I forgot about c takes d4, a3, I just forgot about a3. If not a3, I'm probably just winning. And
so can you play maybe bishop f5 first? And then take on
bishop f5, maybe. Queen h4, h6. But then d takes c5, and here I just don't want to embarrass myself if I say too many bad lines, you know, in computers, like...
Looks very complicated.
Mistake, mistake, like B.
That's okay. Happens to
red
everybody.
red line.
Happens to everybody.
Maybe c takes d4 is okay, but I just had a glitch. I was kind of mad at myself that I completely forgot that he has a3, and I'm like, yo, how can you be so naive? You're playing Bruzon and just thinking that you're winning like after 12 moves or whatever. I mean, like, that's just not the way life works, you know.
Yeah, so he put up a fight after a3, and you had to go back with the knight.
I wasn't so sure. I kind of wasted lots of time calculating d takes e3, queen b4, pawn takes on d2, and here, actually, he probably can't even take with the queen.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure what I was calculating here. And then I thought even like h6.
Oh, wow.
And it seems like I was just calculating this for fun, not for any practical reasons.
Should you remove the...
If bishop a8, yeah, knight a8. So, knight e4. And I'm like, what if I go bishop h3? No, h3, not a6.
h3.
h3. Yeah, and here...
If I move the rook...
Yeah, and then like queen d5 was my idea, I mean, followed by f5 or something like that. But this is, I'm not sure why I was calculating this. It doesn't look realistic.
Looks like like white kind of consolidated.
Yeah, it looks like this is just all trash.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, good. So good that you didn't play that. So you played
I-
instead knight.
Knight d5,
D5.
and finally I saw this idea was e5, which I thought was good
And now, yeah.
because
yeah,
it's
attacking
kind of put some pressure on him.
on the knight on g5. Knight to f3.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like if he wants to fight for something, then knight f3 is necessary. Otherwise, my game is just way too easy.
Mm-hmm.
If I manage to take on d4, bishop f5, and this is h6, this is just way too bad. So he has to go for this material imbalance, I would say.
And then h6. Yeah, so knight h3 is not an option, right? I mean, it's pretty bad.
No, that's he's gonna lose probably. Yeah, but this one was interesting.
So were you expecting him to sacrifice on f7?
Well, yeah, it's barely a sacrifice. He has 3 pawns. So.
Yeah. We looked at this position after you guys developed a few pieces here. You put your rooks on the e file, and I said I really like black's position, although, you know, you never know. But
Yeah.
it looks like it's equal, but I said no. There is no way this game is going to end in a draw. I mean, something's going to happen.
Yeah, this is everything but equal.
So let's see. So we saw this position on the board, rook e6 and queen d2. And here I was mentioning, okay, so you have a nice blockader on d5. But he almost has no weaknesses. I mean, it's pretty difficult to penetrate white's defenses.
Yeah, I wasn't sure how to make progress here. So, well, my original plan was to check the score sheet and see if we made 30 moves, and then maybe offer a draw. But then I'm like, no, it's too complicated.
We are fighting
to offer
today.
a draw, so
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
But then I'm like, no, okay, let's just move. Let's just shuffle pieces. I mean, the ideal plan was to make it to the time control, and then after move 40, get another half an hour and try to figure out what's going on here. But yeah, it didn't really work out.
So yeah, so I was thinking you're gonna again try to do like h5, h4, and so you did pretty much similar, I guess.
Maybe. I thought about it, which pawn to push, but g5 seemed to be maybe better because f4, you know, maybe the knight is not supported.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's see what happens to rook ac1. Again, still looks pretty equal to me. It looks like you guys are waiting just for those.
Yeah, I was just waiting. Here I'm like, but you see, maybe I still would prefer black here.
Right.
Because, well, I have a piece after all.
Yeah.
And
those pawns are not really connected. Not
yeah,
really
and he can't really go bishop b6 or anything. So, you know, in such positions, the trend is really important. You know, it's like who can be better in the long run, and I guess only black can be better in the long run here.
Yeah, it's probably a very good technique for our viewers to know at home that, you know, if you don't have to push all the time. You can just like wait for your opponent to make a mistake.
Yeah.
So nice. So king h2 looks like everybody's waiting here. Bishop f3 and now queen b3. Okay, so we.
Well, and then I got ambitious and I decided, well, why not? And after, if not queen a5, then I just don't see what else he can do. Maybe he could have just stayed again, like king g1 or something.
Right.
But then.
And you never want to take on e5 because maybe d5 will be.
Maybe I want some at some point, but I'm just not sure when. But also I had maybe ideas now of knight a4, because the knight is protected in d5.
Yeah, the pressure is coming.
Yeah, it was putting some pressure on him.
So queen
but
a5.
Queen a5, maybe queen a5 is just bad. I don't really believe in that move.
Very risky, right? I mean, to take.
Yeah, he's going for that pawn and kind of. Now it's game for 2 results for sure.
So take, and then bishop g6.
I thought it's a pretty solid move. I'm not sure what computer will probably laugh at me, but.
What is the idea of bishop g6?
Well,
just to wait.
Well, queen f7
queen
is kind
f7,
of unpleasant, so I thought I need to go bishop g6.
Right, and you can't take on f2 because rook f1 or something.
Yeah, queen f2, rook f1, queen f7, and yeah, I was just
so bishop
not in the
g6,
mood for that for sure.
Then queen to b7.
After bishop g6, I honestly thought that I should be in a really good shape. Well, maybe even winning. But that's my thinking.
Yeah, how does he bring his queen back? Right? So maybe queen b7. So what happened? Take. Rook f1, queen b2.
Yeah, well, here after rook e2, it must be lost for him. I don't care about g6 knight. Yeah, knight on g6 is just...
So maybe the last mistake was knight takes g6?
Maybe already here he's in bad shape, because I want to go bishop e4. Now it's an actual threat. Or maybe knight e3 actually. Yeah, knight e3. Knight e3, yeah. Knight e3 is more
coming, right? To the
painful. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And he only has 2 pawns. Like, even if I don't have any immediate threats, he just has too little.
Right. Okay, so knight takes here, and now rook to e2. Pretty amazing move. That's rook e2. And now queen f7, and then he has no other checks.
Yeah, now my king is surprisingly really safe on h7.
And knight e3, and so...
Yeah, so if queen f3, well, after queen f3 I actually would have taken knight g2. I thought it's the quickest way. And rook g2 takes queen g2, and then rook e2. That was my...
okay. You don't want to take the rook on c1?
No, I want queen. Yeah, I'm greedy.
Right. Take.
No, rook e2.
Rook e2, right.
Yeah, don't take.
Nice. So good. I mean, good for you. Very good, nice, good fighting spirit. Do you know who are you playing next?
I believe Akobian.
Akobian?
Yeah.
It's gonna be difficult. They're still playing, right? Akobian against...
I think it was a draw.
Draw, right. So, okay. So nice. How are you still doing in school? You're still in tests?
Yeah, but I had a rough start because I had to submit my assignment, and it was a huge assignment. So, I was distracted quite a bit because all the free time outside the chess I was just putting into it. So
we have to multitask.
But now it's easier because the next one is probably due after the tournament, so it's easier. Yeah.
All right. Well, congratulations. So good job on the win today, and good luck in your next round.
Yep. Thank
you for joining us.
Thank you.
And we are going to go into a quick commercial break. Stay with us. We're going to come back.
Question on Twitter from Damas. I should not have pronounced that. That was a bit of a trap, yeah?
For those of you who are new to chess, it might look like ba3 is an illegal move here because white advances pawn 2 squares, not 1. But it's a little something we call en passant. And you can do that, but you have to do it instantly. You can't wait for a move, like let's say play king e7, king g2, and now try, because I'm gonna do it.
I'm sorry. This is too funny for words.
This is a software glitch? I'm pretty sure there's not a lot.
Lawrence. Hello, Lawrence. Yeah, I'll play 4 against Lawrence. And now he's going to play something against me which we discussed at length during the course of my stay. Yeah, he told me this is excellent. d5, this was what I was kind of hoping for, because now I think e5 is quite strong. No, Lawrence, this is not how chess works. Sadly, it would be much, much more fun if chess actually worked like this. But I don't think it does. Or maybe it does. Well, that's me regretting what I just said. How did I get from there to here is a little bit beyond me. And what's worse, I will never hear the end of it. My quality of life has just gone downhill tremendously because I'm actually sharing the office with the guy.
And welcome back to St. Louis for the 2018 St. Louis Spring Chess Classic. Here I am Ben Simon.
And I'm Vitaly Neimer.
And we are at the end of round number 4. So during the interview with Yaro, there were a lot of developments. Actually, in our game of the day, in Group A, we had a draw between Varuzhin Akobian and Alexander Onishuk. And it was a game that I was watching very intently to see if Akobian could pull out another miracle in the end game, you know, but it was not to be. It was a draw, as to be expected when you're just looking at the position. So after 4 rounds of play, let's take a look at what happened here and the standings here for the A group.
Yeah, so it looks like Jeffrey Zhang, with the win today, is still on leading with 3 points. And then after him, we have Alexander Onishuk and Varuzhin Akobian with 2.5 points each. Sam Shanklin, Darius, and Yaro Zherebuch are all with 2 points. And we have a few players with 1.5 points. So again, the margin is not, I mean, it's still, everything is still open, right? I mean, we still have 5 more rounds to go. So even though Jeffrey is leading, we have a few leaders here, but still very open.
I'm not even sure that we mentioned it, but Jeffrey Zhang did defeat Ganguly today, and it was just Ganguly's misplaced rook was too much to come back, and Zhang was able to take advantage of it. So yes, the youngest player in the field, now in the top spot. So tomorrow, let's take a look at what we have in store for tomorrow's games. You'll be seeing this on uschesschamps.com. Remember, the games start at 1 p.m. Central Time. We'll be on the air at 3:30.
Yeah, we're going to have Romain Edward versus Darius Sverets. Alexander Onishuk is going to be playing white against Sam Shanklin. Yaro Zherebuch is going to play Varuzhin Akobian. Jeffrey Zhang against Lazaro Brazon. And Alex Ipatov will be playing against Surya Ganguly.
Yes, and a word about Group B. You know, we only were able to view 1 game today. We must congratulate Grandmaster J.J. Ali Marandi on his victory against Jack Stembuliak, and thank him for showing us the game. It was nice to see.
Yeah, lots of sacrifices, as we said, lots of fire on the chessboard.
At least on that one.
Yeah.
Elsewhere in the round in Group B, we had Andrei Gorovets taking Viktor Mikhailevsky to a draw, and also we know that Akshat Chandra and Priyadarshan Kanapan was a draw. The other results we're not quite sure of yet, as of yet, and we hope to have the function corrected tomorrow, and so we can watch all 10 games live as they happen here at uschesschamps.com. So, Vitaly, final thoughts on the day?
Yeah, I mean, this was a pretty exciting day. We saw lots of decisive games, and as we said, it's today is Friday, by the way, so it's time to celebrate.
Maybe not too much. The week is just beginning for us. Maybe we'll celebrate the weekend next Wednesday night, if you can believe that.
I know. It's almost like we lost track of the days, right? You know, that feeling when you're playing chess tournament all the time. Yeah. It's just every day, just a work day.
We're almost halfway through this thing.
Yeah.
So
exciting.
We look forward to tomorrow and presenting those games to you. Remember, the round begins at 1 p.m. at uschesschamps.com and through the Chess 24 module, the best way in the world to watch the game of chess, to be sure. And we will be on the air with you at 3:30 p.m. Central. So this broadcast was produced by the world's greatest production B team. Tammy Hyde is making sure we stay on the air. Jonathan Schranz was getting us interviews. Isaac Schranz was doing graphics and sound. Our technical director is Danny Machuca. My name is Ben Simon.
And I'm Vitaly Neimer.
And until tomorrow at 3:30 p.m., we will see you then. And we say so long from the Show Me State. This has been a presentation of the St. Louis Chess Club.